This is the story of a man who complained about everything. His job, his salary, his traffic, his luck, even his own family. Until one small rubber band on his wrist forced him to face the truth about himself. And in just 21 days, everything around him completely changed. Before we start, I want to ask you something. What is the one thing you complain about the most? Drop a comment below and tell me. And please, like and subscribe for more videos like this. In a busy city where everyone rushed to work every morning, there lived a 38-year-old man named Mark. Mark worked as an office manager at a small logistics company. He had a decent salary, a small apartment, a wife named Rachel, and a 9-year-old daughter named Emma. On paper, his life looked fine. But Mark complained constantly. He complained about the traffic on his way to work. He complained about his boss, his coworkers, the weather, the food, his neighbors, even the way his wife cooked dinner. If something good happened, he found the one small flaw in it and focused only on that. His coworkers had a nickname for him behind his back, Gray Cloud Mark, because wherever he sat during lunch, the mood in the room would turn heavy within minutes. Mark did not think he was doing anything wrong. In his mind, he was simply being honest, realistic. He believed most people were too fake, pretending everything was fine when it clearly was not. But the truth was this. Mark had been passed over for promotion 3 times in 5 years. Each time, someone less experienced than him got the position. Each time, Mark complained loudly about unfairness, about office politics, about bad luck. He never once asked himself why. At home, things were not much better. Rachel had stopped sharing her good news with him because even good news somehow turned into a complaint. She got a small bonus at her job once, excited to tell him. Mark's first response was, "That's it? After all that overtime? They are cheating you." Rachel's smile disappeared. She stopped sharing things after that. One evening, Mark got a phone call from his daughter's school. It was Emma's teacher. "Mr. Mark, I need to talk to you about something Emma said in class today." His heart tightened. "Is she okay? Did something happen?" "She's fine physically, but today during group work, one of her classmates made a small mistake, and Emma said, out loud, in front of everyone, 'Of course you got it wrong. You always mess things up.' It really hurt the other child. And Mr. Mark, I have to be honest, this is not the first time. She's been saying things like this more and more. Small put-downs, complaints about everything. I wanted to ask, is this something she's hearing at home?" Mark went quiet. He thanked the teacher and hung up the phone. He sat there in his chair for a long time, staring at nothing. That night, he lay awake next to Rachel, who was already asleep. In his mind, he replayed the teacher's words. Is this something she's hearing at home? He thought about the last few months. The comments about dinner being too plain. The comments about the neighbor's loud dog. The comments about his boss, his coworkers, the traffic, the weather. Nearly every sentence out of his mouth for the last several years had been a complaint. He got up quietly, went out to the porch, and sat there in the dark. It was almost 5 in the morning. The street below was empty except for one older man sweeping the sidewalk outside the building across the street. Mark had seen this man nearly every morning for 2 years and never once spoken to him. He worked as a custodian in the building where Mark's office was. What struck Mark that morning was something he'd never noticed before. The older man was humming softly while he worked, sweeping a sidewalk at 5 a.m., and he looked content. Mark could not stop thinking about it. The next morning, on his way into the office, he stopped. "Excuse me," Mark said. "I see you here every morning. You always seem so calm. Doesn't this work frustrate you? The early hours, the mess people leave behind?" The older man, whose name was Walter, smiled and leaned on his broom. "Why would it frustrate me? This is my work. Complaining about it will not make the trash disappear faster. Mark felt oddly exposed by that answer. But don't you ever have bad days? Doesn't anything bother you? Walter chuckled. 20 years ago, I was the worst complainer you would ever meet. I complained so much, my own kids stopped visiting me. My wife left. I lost 2 jobs because no manager wanted to work with someone so negative. I was drowning in my own complaints. I didn't even know it. Mark's chest tightened. What changed? A doctor, Walter said. I went to see him about chest pain. Stress, he said. He told me something I never forgot. He said, Walter, your mouth has been complaining for so long, your mind believes complaining is the only way to speak. Then he gave me a small rubber band and a challenge. I thought it was a joke. I was wrong. Mark felt something stir in his chest, the same way Thomas once felt hope on that bus. What was the challenge? Walter held up his wrist. There, faded from years of wear, was an old rubber band. 21 days. No complaining, no criticizing, no gossiping about anyone. If you slip, even once, you move the band to your other wrist and you start counting from 0 again. That's it? Just a band? That's it, but it is much harder than it sounds. Meet me here tomorrow morning at 5 a.m. if you are serious. I will give you the same band the doctor gave me 20 years ago. That evening, Mark came home and looked at his daughter, asleep on the couch with her homework still open. He thought of the teacher's words again. He made a decision. The next morning, Mark was there at 5 a.m. Walter placed a plain rubber band around Mark's right wrist. Here is the system, Walter said. This is not negotiable. Rule 1. Every time you complain, criticize someone, or gossip about anyone, even for 1 sentence, you switch the band to your other wrist immediately, and you start your count back at 0. Rule 2. A complaint is not the same as a real problem. If there is something wrong, you are allowed to calmly discuss a solution. But the moment your words turn into blame, sarcasm, or venting with no purpose, that is a complaint. Notice the difference. Rule 3. The first week will feel impossible. Most people switch the band 20, 30 times a day without even realizing how much they complain. Do not get discouraged. Awareness is the entire point. You cannot fix what you cannot see. 21 days, Walter said. Most people never make it past day 3. If you are serious, come back and see me every morning. If you quit, do not bother explaining why. Everyone has a reason. Mark nodded. I will do it. We will see, Walter said, with the same knowing smile the doctor must have once given him. The first day was humiliating. By 9 a.m., Mark had already switched the band 6 times. On his commute, he complained about traffic. In a meeting, he complained about a colleague's slow work. At lunch, he criticized the food. Each time, he switched wrists, feeling more and more aware of how automatic his negativity had become. By the end of day 1, he had switched the band 23 times. The second week was harder in a different way. Mark began to notice the words forming in his mouth before he said them. He would catch himself mid-sentence. This weather is absolutely... and stop. He'd feel the urge to criticize a coworker's report and pause. Some days he switched the band 15 times. Some days only 8. Rachel noticed something different about him, but said nothing at first, unsure if it would last. Around day 12, something shifted. Mark sat down for dinner and, out of habit, almost said something about the food. He caught himself, looked at Rachel, and instead said, Thank you for cooking today after such a long day at work." Rachel looked up, surprised. It had been years since he said something like that. By day 15, his coworkers noticed too. In a meeting where a project had gone wrong, instead of blaming anyone, Mark said, "Okay, here's what went wrong, and here's how we fix it moving forward." His manager actually paused and looked at him. That was a really constructive way to handle that, Mark. Mark felt something he hadn't felt in years. Pride, not defensiveness. Day 18, Emma came home from school and said, "Dad, my teacher said I was really kind to my group today." Mark felt his eyes sting. He hugged her longer than usual. On day 21, Mark walked to the sidewalk at 5 a.m. Walter was there, sweeping, humming his usual tune. "I made it," Mark said. 21 days. I did not switch the band once in the final week." Walter smiled, the same warm, knowing smile. "I knew you would. You had that look in your eyes, the look of someone finally listening to himself." "Why did it work?" Mark asked. "It's such a small thing, a rubber band." "Because the band was never really the point," Walter said. "The point was making you pause. Most people speak on autopilot for their entire lives, complaining without even hearing themselves. The band forced you to hear every single word before it left your mouth. Once you can hear yourself clearly, you can choose who you want to be." 6 months later, Mark was promoted to Senior Operations Manager, the position he had been passed over for 3 times before. His manager told him directly, "The biggest difference this year wasn't your skills, Mark. It was your attitude. People want to work with you now." At home, Rachel began sharing her good news again. Small things, big things, without fear of it turning into a complaint. Emma's teacher had nothing but good reports. Mark still wears a rubber band on his wrist, faded now like Walter's once was. Not because he needs it anymore, but because it reminds him of who he almost became and who he chose to be instead. My friend, Mark's story is proof of something powerful. It is not your circumstances that shape your life. It is the words you allow yourself to repeat every single day. Traffic will always be there. Difficult people will always exist. Bad days will always come. The only real question is what you do with your mouth when they do. Here is what most people do not understand. Complaining feels satisfying in the moment, but it trains your brain to search for what's wrong everywhere you look. The more you complain, the more your mind finds reasons to complain. It becomes a loop that quietly poisons your relationships, your career, and your own peace without you ever noticing it happening. So here is your challenge, the same challenge Walter gave Mark. Step 1. Tonight, find a rubber band, a bracelet, even a hair tie, and put it on one wrist. Step 2. For the next 21 days, every time you complain, criticize, or gossip, switch it to the other wrist and restart your count at 0. Do not judge yourself when it happens. Just notice it and switch. Step 3. Replace one complaint a day with one thing you are grateful for, said out loud to someone, not in your head, out loud. I promise you this, if you commit to this for 21 real days, you will not just change your habits, you will change how people experience you. Your family, your coworkers, your friends, all of them will feel the difference before you even fully see it yourself. Mark had no special skill, no lucky break, just one small habit repeated with honesty for 21 days. You have that same choice available to you starting tonight. If you are ready to take the 21-day challenge, hit that like button right now as your commitment. Then drop a comment telling me, what will you replace your first complaint with tomorrow? Let's hold each other accountable. I will be checking the comments. Share this video with someone who complains about everything but never changes. Maybe this is exactly what they need to hear. And subscribe to this channel because every week I bring you stories of people who quietly transformed their lives and the exact steps they used to do it. Remember Walter's words: you cannot fix what you cannot see. Your first step is simply learning to hear yourself. Will you start tonight?